Thank you for being back with us on another episode of the Virtual GM podcast. If you have been listening for the past couple weeks, you've been hearing us talk about the Central Block. It's our brand new property in Bend, Oregon. And today we are going to give you the pain points of opening a new property. So if you're in the process of or about to be opening a property, you're not going to want to miss the things that we've uncovered while building out all of these amazing properties. Be sure to stay tuned, like and subscribe, and most importantly, enjoy the episode.
Okay, welcome back to Virtual GM Podcast. You have us on season 2, episode 11, and let's see, how are we going to start with our segue?
That's how we've done the other 70 episodes, so I don't see why we changed now.
Yeah, let's have you start with your segue first.
Okay, well, I had the luxury of golfing twice last week, which I used to golf twice a week every week for a couple years.
That's crazy.
At least 3 times a week. Isn't that wild to think?
Yeah.
There was 2 years I golfed at least 3 times a week.
Yeah, you were getting up at like 5 a.m.
Yeah, it's awesome. I loved it. Overdid it though. Overcooked it. But I got back out and got to play 2 rounds of golf. I got to play with my dad on Saturday. And unfortunately, he forgot how to play golf somehow. Just no longer knows how to do it and is terrible. Even plays from the red tees because he's getting older. And I think Cash could beat him, honestly.
I think that's the thing about golf though, right? Like you can be so good, then you can also be so bad.
Oh, for sure. Because on Saturday, I played amazing. I shot an 80. I played so good. And then I played with Zach and Donnie and Kyle on Sunday. And my first 3 iron shots, I hit completely diagonal out of bounds. So, what are you going to do?
I know.
Golf's a weird game. But it's so fun. Love being outside. Love the camaraderie of the people you're golfing with. It's just always a good time. So it felt so good to get out and do that.
Yeah.
Oh, and then business best, we, as entrepreneurs, you get some tax benefits. One of which is if a vehicle weighs over 6,000 pounds, you can deduct the cost of that vehicle
up to 80%.
Up to 80% off of your income, even if you have a loan on it. So if you buy a $100,000 vehicle, you could deduct $80,000 in income, and then you're not paying income tax on the $80,000. And if you're paying 35% tax, that's a pretty significant amount of money. And so I've always wanted an F-250 Super Duty, and thanks to Megan, we just ordered that last week. And so it'll be about 6 months before we actually get it. But just super excited. That's like a dream truck. And so I can't wait to get it.
Yeah, it's exciting. Okay, for me, I will start with business. And Cody kind of touched on this last episode, but being able to work remotely. And I think we saw that on our last couple trips we took. All we needed was some Wi-Fi and our laptop, and we didn't miss a call. We didn't miss like our daily duties. So that's a really awesome thing about owning our own business.
And we talked a little bit about how we went to the Biltmore, but we were lucky enough at the Biltmore to be able to get one of their suites. And so we had like a kitchen and living room area.
Yeah,
and you and I, every morning we went and got our breakfast. We came back, we updated all the finances. Like I worked every single day we were there, which can be looked at in 2 lights, right? Like, oh, it's unfortunate you're working on a family trip, but also we got to be on the family trip because
100%.
We were able to work. You know what I mean?
Worked for like 1 hour.
Yeah, it doesn't take very long because we split our duties up and worked through it. And like we had our central block call when we were there, and so it's amazing to see the freedom. And now I think because of COVID,
I was going to say that.
Yeah, and
really
people being
it.
so much more understanding of that. Like Cody, who owns the central block, he's not like, "Why are you there?"
Right. Or like, why are you not in business attire?
Yeah.
Like
why aren't you in your office? And so I don't even think that stigma exists anymore, especially for us being in hospitality. And so that was very cool. And I didn't feel burdened by the work.
100%.
It felt freeing in a way.
Yeah.
Because I was like, we're not going to come back to, like, we're not going to be behind.
Yeah, 5 days of missed work.
Right. We did all of the work we needed to do every single day. And so coming back on that Monday, it was like, just felt like any other Monday. It didn't feel like we'd just been gone for 5 days. So that was really cool.
Yeah, that's super awesome. So that was my business best. And personal, I started leasing a horse like probably a month and a half ago. And up until now, I've really just been trying to build a relationship with her, building trust.
Yeah.
And let's see, yesterday was like the first time I was able to like trot at a fast pace and feel comfortable on her. So it's a huge win for me.
That's really exciting.
Yeah.
Got them new boots.
Yeah, they're not cute, but they are effective.
We don't get into this subject often on the Virtual Gym podcast, but I think it's because that was your personal best. I didn't know it was going to be, but I think it's cool to talk about the importance of aspiration and vocalization and putting something out there that you want. Because if I remember right, you connected to those dots of like, I need this at the summit of greatness for a horse.
Yeah, it was really eye-opening. Well, not even for a horse, but it was like, why? Oops, sorry. Why are you waiting?
Cut it. We're gonna have to start the episode over. No, your microphone just went out.
Are you being for real?
No.
Oh.
That's why they had to get new microphones. See, because now it's plugged in up here. It used to be plugged in the back, and novices like you would knock it.
Oh.
And then the sound goes out.
Yeah.
Amateur hour. Okay, so this is actually a really important topic, but let's go back to that. Let's unfold it, because I think that this is obviously something that happened in your personal life, but it's absolutely how business works too.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to progress and get somewhere that you want to be, it starts with a thought, and that thought becomes an idea, and that idea gets vocalized, and the universe gets in tune. Yeah. And if your actions align with your thoughts, then you can achieve these things that you want. 100%. And so I would love for you to just kind of divulge what that process looked like for you to now, have a horse.
Okay. Well, I've always loved horses, and I've always dreamed of owning a horse or having a horse or learning how to ride, right? Because I never properly learned how to ride, and nor did I really do it that much. We would go on trips, right? And they would have horseback
and you'd
riding.
Want to do it every single time that you could.
Every time. I just wanted to be able to connect with this animal. I don't know. It's just this.
Which we do have the most badass picture of you ever riding those horses on the beach in Oregon.
Oh, yes.
Like the cloud.
Yes. And even that is like such a, right? I mean, you're riding horses that do these trails every day. So, you're just on the horse, but it's safe. But we went to the Summit of Greatness, and
this was September of last year. Yeah. Lewis Howes, an absolute incredible thought leader, and put on like probably the best event that we've ever been to.
Yeah, I think it was Jen Sincero. I think it was her speech, right?
She's the author of You're a Badass.
Mm-hmm. Like, what are you waiting for? Like, why do we wait to make these things happen? Why do we wait to do these things that we want to do? I was like, oh gosh, why am I waiting? Like, I'm not too old to start learning how to ride a horse.
Yeah.
I'm like, why can't I? Yeah. And so when we got home, I remember we were on one of our calls.
Well, also, I think, don't lose your train of thought, but I feel like they also had us do exercises at the event.
Yes.
And didn't you write down or vocalize? I feel like I remember you at the Summit of Greatness.
I could have.
Like conveying that desire.
I'd have to go back and look.
Okay, so just keep going.
So we're on the call, and my segue was, I am going to start taking horse lessons. Like, I'm going to start taking riding lessons. You were like, what? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. Like, why would I keep waiting?
Yeah.
I'm going to fit it in my budget, and I'm going to make it happen. And so I reached out to a bunch of horse trainers, and I found one, and I started taking lessons in October. And
so within like 30 days,
within 30 days, I found somebody, I had signed up for lessons, and it just felt so good. It felt good to do something for me, but it also felt good to get really uncomfortable, because it's a lot of work learning how to ride a horse.
Yeah.
And even now, I'm just such a beginner.
Because you got to drive out there, you got to get ready, you got to get the horse ready. It's a commitment.
Yeah. So I've been learning how to ride a horse since October, and an opportunity came up last month to lease a horse, and a horse I've never ridden before. And
shout out Masterpiece.
Yeah, Masterpiece. And, I think we're really good for each other. It's really cool to connect with animals.
And it's cool too, because like when you said that, and it's like, oh, I want a horse. But anyone who knows about horses, like that is an expensive endeavor to buy a house.
Buy a horse. Yes, it is expensive to buy a house.
To buy a horse, to house the horse.
Yes.
Feed the horse. Like
all the things.
You are in so much financially just to start that process, right?
Totally.
But through these horse lessons, people who have horses who aren't able to utilize them in the way that they would like are able to then lease a horse out. So that way the horse is still getting that love and care and riding and all of that. And none of that would have come to light had you not made the decision to take a horse riding lesson.
Yeah.
Now you have a horse.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say you're leasing it because you are, but people who lease a car don't say like, oh, I don't have a car. I lease one.
Yeah.
You're
right. I have a horse.
You have a horse.
Yeah. Through that being summer, the kids come with me every time. And Cash, he just loves it. Like it's so important to connect with nature and animals. And yeah, it's been great. Super not for virtual GM, but
no, but I think it's good for listeners to know who we are. And more importantly, it has nothing to do with the horse. It has to do with the desire for it and then doing it. That's really what I'm talking about, right? Because if you're listening to this and you are at the front desk and you want to be a manager, but you've never had that conversation, then this is your sign to have that conversation.
Totally.
Or if you've been looking at that Airbnb, but you're afraid to buy it, or you've had an eye on a property you want to redo, like it doesn't really matter. The horse is just a euphemism.
You're right. You just got to take that leap.
Yes.
You got to have that leap of faith into the unknown.
Because
scary or not.
You're not too old to do anything,
Right,
whether it's riding a horse or starting a business, whatever it is.
Right.
If you have that desire, then go chase it, know? And even then at the Summit of Greatness, that's when I looked at you and said, I just got to have a business that's mine.
Yeah.
And not even a year later. And obviously the listeners know we've gone through that buyout and now Vibrant is ours. And it's been more than I could have ever even imagined it to be.
Totally.
I mean, that what we're able to create for ourselves and our clients is so exciting. And I just love the path that we're on. So I think it was a worthwhile segmentation to get into that conversation.
Yeah.
Because that is equally as important as the X's and O's of business.
Totally.
But that being said, to get into it, today's episode is the pain points of opening a new business. Yes. So we at Vibrant obviously have helped open up multiple properties. And so we've got a good exposure to what that looks like. And we just had our most recent property open in Bend, Oregon, called the Central Block. If you want to throw that up on the screen, Mal, it's thecentralblock.com. Really, really excited about this property. It's a perfect fit for Virtual GM. They're taking the whole process with us, which is so exciting. If you listen to the episode before this, they are a Stash member. They're utilizing Virtual GM. If you've heard episodes about Akia, they're on it. They're using WebRes. They're using Duetto. Like, they are fully in our proven process. And so Meagan is going to have so much more exposure to this than anyone else, really, because Meagan, whether she is your Virtual GM for your property or not, is going to get you from ideation to implementation. And so why don't you share some of those things that have come to light that you think, like, if a listener is listening and you're about to or in the process of, here's the things that we've learned and have stuck out to us.
Yeah, I would say first timing, right? Like, construction, we know it usually never happens when they say it's going to happen.
Add more time than you think.
Always. But also starting the build out of the property, right? Because you don't want to do it too soon.
Yeah, because then you're paying for all the services and software you don't necessarily need.
Unless you know when you're going to open, and maybe you just start with like WebRes, right? And you do like the direct booking on your website.
Yeah.
But like with some of them, we probably jump the gun a little bit with like Akia, and like signing up maybe too soon.
Yeah, because you're paying that monthly fee and you don't have any guests.
Even if you
but
don't
you
have
do
any
need
guests.
enough time to build it out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tricky.
Double-edged sword, you might say.
Yeah. So
double entendre.
Yeah. Finding out the timing is really important. And then I think like what we've noticed with the Central Block, having people stay at your property who aren't like paying guests prior to opening. And
don't just have them stay in a room, have them go through the booking engine.
Yes.
Right. Even if it's a zero, even though they're not paying, have them go through so they get that arrival email. You can have your automation working. You can test Akia. You can see if it doesn't look right, doesn't sound right. You know what I mean? Like really test it.
Yeah, there's mistakes. And there's little kinks that you just can't really figure out until you have people stay.
Don't let a paying guest be your guinea pig.
Yeah, it's tough, right? But I mean, obviously you're opening a new business and you have to hit this quota to get the financing and you know what I mean? You want to make revenue, but I think that is super important. I think you'd be able to find a lot of things that you could fix prior to having somebody stay at your property.
Well, and I mean, the truth of the matter is no matter what you do, you're still going to run into stuff.
100%.
Like
no
yesterday, we got some bookings last week. This weekend is like their first full weekend.
Yes.
We were completely sold out. But we had some firefighters who were going to stay with us who got stuck on a fire. So that relieved some of that stress. But we had some bathrooms that didn't have toilet paper. And we had, I think, air conditioning that wasn't working.
Yeah, and that happens, right? I mean, 19 rooms and assigning that to who to make sure that all those things are being checked off, And obviously easy fixes.
Yeah.
You can bring somebody toilet paper, no problem, right? And I think...
And a lock that didn't work, right? Like, we have to replace it altogether.
Yeah, he had to replace a lock.
Yeah.
Luckily, we don't have somebody there till today. But I think, like, booking out half the property. Like Ali
I would
said.
not. Yeah, we shouldn't have allowed them to be sold out because then if let's say an AC is out or a lock doesn't work, you're reassigning them somewhere outside of your property anyway. So leave yourself like 70% occupancy should be the most you can book.
I agree.
For the first 3 weeks or so until you can figure everything out and be able to move people if you need.
That's a great idea. Yeah, I think that, and then like amenities in the room, right? Like knowing what do guests want in a room, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do you need in a room?
What's interesting is because we talked about it with the owner of Central Block, Cody, but like having coffee and stuff in the room. But the more I think about it, like I don't drink coffee in the rooms.
Well, most of the time the coffee is terrible.
Yeah, and the creamer is like
and
that shit
the
creamer.
Keurigs don't work, or they don't like. I tried to brew a cup of coffee at the waterfront.
Yeah,
and I got like a half an inch of coffee, so it clearly didn't work.
You did make us coffee at the Biltmore. They had like an espresso.
That was good coffee.
Yeah. I guess
that was okay.
I guess if it works, it's different. But like the ones that you see in like typical hotels and Keurigs, if it's a brand new property, you're probably fine. But if it's a 4-year-old property, is that Keurig been descaled? Or
are they descaling them?
What kind of water is in it? And how
the more
old is
I think
the pod?
about it, having the common space like they're going to have where you can have one Keurig and they can go and just brew coffee there is great.
Yeah.
Right? Having
I don't think I would really care about a coffee maker, truthfully.
Yeah.
Unless like it was a drip coffee and they gave me like a local
but that's
roast
like
beans, like
you got to have a grinder, you got to have filters, like you have to have water.
Yeah, you got to have a lot more stuff.
Like that's a lot.
Would you drink coffee with tap water? Would you do that?
No. Not me. Not me.
Storage though.
Yeah,
gotta have storage. Nothing bothers me more than having a place to put my stuff.
Yeah, you are an unpacker.
Every single time.
Every time.
I just got to put my stuff away. Otherwise, I feel like I'm unsettled.
Yes.
So don't give me, nothing makes me more angry than a hotel with 2 hangars.
Yeah. Well, who does that?
Especially, I get it if it's like an overnight roadside motel, whatever.
But then.
But if you're going like to the waterfront and you're obviously, they hope people stay for 4 or 5 days, like at minimum
10.
I would need 4 or 5 hangars. And that's just for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So have more hangars.
Yeah. Even like a stand for your luggage.
Yeah.
Right. Like not having your luggage on the floor.
It was nice at the waterfront because we could put all of our luggage like back into the closet on the bottom.
That was nice.
Which was nice, because if your floor space is limited, it's a bummer to lose that limited space you already have to suitcases.
Yeah.
Not have somewhere to put it.
I'm okay living out of my suitcase.
Yeah. My daughter is my daughter. She's OCD too. She literally brings shit just so she can unpack it.
It's true.
She brought
20 lip glosses.
Like, Olivia, we were here for 4 days. Why do you have 20 lip glosses? Because
Did she use any of them?
No.
But
she put them in a little jar. She made it look real nice. She just
sure did.
She literally packs to unpack. She came down the other day because we're going to Washington. She goes, can I bring 2 suitcases, Dad?
What?
Oh, yeah. She climbed up. She climbed up in the closet and got down the Minnie Mouse suitcase and was like, can I bring this too? And I was like, for what?
Oh, she's an overpacker.
You know what she said? All of her stuff.
Oh, gosh. I will be going through that luggage.
Yeah. Do not let her bring that luggage. You got to check it.
I will.
We're going to get caught in TSA because she's going to have like liquids.
Yeah.
And, that's what she said. Her shoes. That's what she said. I need my heels and I need these and those.
Well, it's better than her not bringing any shoes.
Yeah.
Which
we've
has
had
happened.
that problem. Yeah. We do have kids.
Many times.
Get in the car without shoes on and realize they don't have any.
Yeah.
Okay. So what other kind of hiccups? Obviously you want to have your website going. Luckily, we were able to do the Central Blocks website. If you're watching this, we've got it up now.
It looks awesome.
It turned out super good, and we were able to have it. We had a pop-up that said coming soon. So if people arrived at it, they would know that we're not open yet, but that we will be. And we'll put a length of stay promo. I'm going to talk to Cody about that next week.
Yeah.
So we'll get a length of promo stayed. And what's cool is that Mallory's scrolling down this. So it talks about who we are. You can see Bend. Like, look how cool it is.
So beautiful.
And we talk about all the things to do. And as she scrolls down further, we've got some awesome tiles that will show you all the different things you can do. Old Mill District, Mount Bachelor, Tumalo Falls, Smith Rock, all these amazing things. And then you've got this awesome parallax that shows the property. That's the shared space right here. So at the end of the property, which is really cool. They just did a great job on it. I really can't wait to hear what guests say about it. It's like a perfect location too, right downtown. But I think that it's important to obviously have that. Also, you can see that we have the map on here. So I just learned this last week, but Google wants you to have their map embedded. So if you are building a website or if you have a website for your property, make sure you've embedded your map and not just your address. Even if the address outlinks to the map, Google, for local SEO purposes, wants this map embedded into your website. So if you don't love the way that it looks, if you don't like it's aesthetic, find a different page to put it on, but make sure you have that Google map embedded on your website. But what was awesome to see is how many direct bookings we were able to drive for a brand new property. That was like very encouraging because it is hard to be found digitally in such a crowded space.
I couldn't believe it. Where are you guys finding this information?
Because our OTAs weren't even on yet, right?
No.
Yeah, so it was all direct bookings, and that is a part of why it's so important to get that website live early, because we had a couple months of like SEO efforts.
Yeah.
To be relevant for guests to find us before we opened.
Yeah, I think we could have even done it where we would set that live a lot earlier and just done the dates
further out booking.
Further out.
Yeah, we probably could have done that.
But, hindsight's 2020.
What else anything else from going through the central block that you felt like, oh, we'll do this differently next time?
Having somebody on site the day of.
Yeah.
Like maybe the first couple days.
Yeah.
Right. Just for those small things.
And most properties aren't going to run virtually. Like we're
It's
a unique fit, right? So unless you're really, I don't know that there's another company there's other smaller management companies that work with small properties like this, but I don't think anyone has really dove into like this virtual experience. That's probably an us specific thing. Mm-hmm. But if you're trying to execute our model and you've been listening to the podcast for, almost 2 years and you're doing it yourself, definitely you want to be there for those things.
Like had Cody not been there yesterday and today, I don't know how we would have got a lot of the things done.
Yeah.
Because there's only so much we can do from the remote side.
Absolutely. So. Well, and I think what's cool too is, so we've got a veteran virtual GM team, but like Allison, who grew up in hospitality, has been a virtual GM for 5 years or something like that. And she was like, I'm taking the phones the week and the weekend for this first week to really work through it.
Yeah.
And having like for Cody to have that reassurance of like, not only does he like, are you looking at it and I'm looking at it and Emily's looking at it and Becca's looking at it, but now you've also got Allie looking at it.
Yeah.
And you're bringing in this brain trust of people who have all this experience.
Definitely.
Who are ensuring that. It's funny because Cody texted me this morning about that lock.
He said,
what did he say to you?
He's like, oh, I called Cody this morning. I'm like, oh, I haven't spoken to Cody, so.
So he asked me, and I said, let's see what Meagan thinks is the best lock. The locks we have at the dwellings have been baking in the desert sun for 4 years and haven't had any issues. And he said, haha, that's awesome. She sent me the link, so we're good. So without even knowing it, we gave him the same direction, which has to be reassuring for him to know, like,
for sure,
we're all on the same page as a team.
Definitely aligned.
Well, what I would say is the next piece of that, dare I say, the bonus tip.
What's the bonus tip?
Hire someone to help you. Like, that's a hard thing to do on your own.
Especially if you've never done it.
Oh my, I couldn't imagine.
We've had a couple clients who have never been in this space before.
Yeah, I don't know what Cody would have done without us. He wouldn't be open. Yeah. There's no way. And so hire someone, be it us or somebody else. And the thing is, if you need help getting your property open or executing the virtual GM or giving you all the tools and the proven process, but you want to do it yourself, that's fine too.
Totally.
You can hire us and we'll just take you through the onboarding process. We'll build out your PMS. We'll get you set up with Duetto. We'll get you going on Akia. We'll connect you with Stash. Like, we can do all of that for you. And then if you want us to take this amazing vehicle we've built, just like the truck I ordered, custom order it.
You just drive it.
We'll just hand you the keys and it can be yours. But it will be yours knowing if you need us that we're there. Totally. Because it's built on our proven process. Yeah. So if you want to try and drive it and then 6 months in or a year down the road, you're like, man, it'd be nice to not have to worry about this. Because I think the thing that is easily forgotten is that it isn't just myself or Meagan. It is an entire team of people that are helping support your business. So if you're listening to this and you're in the process of or about to or thinking about doing it, just reach out to us. It doesn't cost anything to have a conversation. You can message me at cody@thevibrantteam.com and we can have that dialogue and see if we can't help support you, building your website, doing your branding, all the things that you need to get open. We can certainly help with that. And then of course, if you want facilitation furthermore, and you want the ongoing support, that's our specialty. But I think at this point, we've really perfected what it looks like to get going.
Right.
So anything else you'd add to that?
No, I just want to help as many people as possible, right?
Absolutely. Like it's so rewarding. Like seeing the smile on Cody's face yesterday when he's in front of his property on our weekly ops call. Yeah. It's a really rewarding feeling. Like seeing the businesses succeed is just so cool.
Well, and we've done that for the local, right? Like I got them all set up, but Christy runs it.
Right.
And I'm here if she needs me, and sometimes she needs me and I help her through that. But she's set up on all of the processes, which is so nice. And so it's just pretty smooth running.
Absolutely. I love it. Love it. Well, thank you so much for listening and being back with us on another episode. Be sure to like and subscribe because episode 12 is going to be a fun one. Little teaser. We are going to talk Airbnb, so you're not going to want to miss it.
Ooh.
There it is. Let it out, girl.